Today, I stand before you to address a painful reality. Racism, an opinion-based ideology, cannot be defeated. It's a harsh truth, but one we must confront. Cultural differences inherent to human nature will always divide us. We judge and form beliefs based on our unique experiences, upbringing, and values. These beliefs shape our perceptions, and it's a rare individual who can change their core beliefs. Racism is a manifestation of these differences, fueled by fear, ignorance, and a desire for power. It's not a disease we can cure or a problem we can solve overnight. We've tried laws, education, and activism, but racism persists. Not because we haven't tried hard enough, but because it's an integral part of human complexity. We must acknowledge that our beliefs, even the most well-intentioned, can be flawed and limiting. We must also recognize that our experiences, though unique, are not universal. What seems obvious to us may be alien to others. This is the essence of cultural differences. We've tried to eradicate racism through various means, from legislation to education, but it persists. Why? Because we've been targeting the symptoms, not the root cause. We've been trying to change people's minds without understanding the complexity of human beliefs and cultural differences. Racism is not a simple issue. It's a deeply ingrained aspect of human psychology and sociology. It's a result of historical, cultural, and social factors that have shaped our beliefs and attitudes. We can't simply cure racism with a magic pill or a quick fix. We've tried to force people to change their beliefs through political correctness, but it's only driven racism underground. We've created a culture of fear, where people are afraid to speak their minds, lest they be labeled a racist. But this hasn't addressed the underlying issues. It's only made them more entrenched. We've also tried to educate people out of racism, but education alone is not enough. We can't simply teach people to be tolerant and expect racism to disappear. Tolerance is a band-aid solution. It doesn't address the underlying beliefs and attitudes that drive racism. Furthermore, we've ignored the role of power and privilege in perpetuating racism. We've allowed those in positions of power to maintain the status quo, while marginalized communities continue to suffer. We've put the onus on the oppressed to change the oppressor, rather than addressing the systemic issues that perpetuate racism. Human beliefs are complex and multifaceted, shaped by a myriad of factors such as culture, upbringing, experiences, and social environment. They are not simply a product of individual choice or rational thinking, but are deeply ingrained in our psyche and influenced by various biases and heuristics. Our beliefs are often shaped by our cultural and social context, which can lead to a phenomenon known as cultural relativism. This is the tendency to view our own cultural beliefs and practices as the norm, while perceiving others as deviant or inferior. This can lead to a lack of understanding and empathy towards other cultures and beliefs, perpetuating racism and discrimination. Furthermore, our beliefs are also influenced by cognitive biases and heuristics, such as confirmation bias and the availability heuristic. These biases can lead us to selectively seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs, while ignoring contradictory evidence. This can make it difficult to change our beliefs, even when confronted with compelling evidence to the contrary. In addition, our beliefs are often tied to our sense of identity and belonging. When our beliefs are challenged, it can feel like an attack on our very self. This can lead to defensiveness and resistance to change, even if our beliefs are harmful or unjust. To truly address racism and discrimination, we must understand and acknowledge the complexity of human beliefs. We must recognize that our beliefs are not fixed or absolute, but are shaped by a variety of factors and can change over time. We must also be willing to challenge our own beliefs and biases and engage in open and honest dialogue with others. Empathy and understanding are the keys to unlocking the doors of racism and discrimination. When we take the time to truly understand another person's experiences, beliefs, and culture, we begin to see the world through their eyes. We begin to recognize the humanity that connects us all, rather than the superficial differences that divide us. Empathy is not just a feeling, but a choice. It's a choice to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, to see the world from their perspective, and to understand their struggles and challenges. When we choose empathy, we open ourselves up to a deeper level of understanding and connection. Understanding, on the other hand, is not just about intellectual knowledge, but about emotional intelligence. It's about being able to see beyond our own biases and assumptions, and to recognize the complexities and nuances of another person's experiences. When we take the time to understand, we begin to see that our differences are not weaknesses, but strengths. The power of empathy and understanding lies in their ability to break down the walls of racism and discrimination. When we empathize with someone, we begin to see them as an individual, rather than a stereotype or a label. We begin to recognize their humanity, and our own humanity in return. Moreover, empathy and understanding have the power to transform our beliefs and attitudes. When we take the time to understand another person's perspective, we begin to see that our own beliefs and biases may be limited or misguided. We begin to question our assumptions and to seek out new knowledge and experiences. Leadership and accountability are crucial components in the quest to eradicate racism and discrimination. Leaders have the power to shape culture, influence beliefs, and drive change. They must use this power to create a society that values empathy, understanding, and inclusivity. Accountability is essential for leaders to acknowledge and confront their own biases and privileges. They must be willing to listen, learn, and adapt, and to hold themselves and others accountable for perpetuating harmful beliefs and behaviors. Effective leadership requires 1. Self-awareness, recognizing one's own biases and privileges. 2. Empathy, understanding the experiences and perspectives of marginalized communities. 3. Courage, willingness to confront and challenge harmful beliefs and behaviors. 4. Humility, openness to learning and growth. 5. Accountability, holding oneself and others responsible for actions and words. Leaders must also create systems and structures that promote equity and inclusivity. This includes 1. Policies and practices that address discrimination and bias. 2. Education and training programs that promote cultural competence. 3. Diversity and inclusion initiatives that foster a sense of belonging. 4. Community engagement and outreach programs that build trust and relationships. 5. Accountability mechanisms that address incidents of discrimination and bias. Ultimately, leadership and accountability are essential for creating a society that values and respects all individuals, regardless of race, ethnicity, or background. By leading with empathy, understanding, and courage, we can build a world that is just, equitable, and inclusive for all. Conclusion. Racism and discrimination are complex issues that require a multifaceted approach. By understanding the complexity of human beliefs, the power of empathy and understanding, and the importance of leadership and accountability, we can begin to build a society that values and respects all individuals. Let us continue the conversation, challenge our own beliefs and biases, and work towards a world that is just and equitable for all.